Growth is one of the most important things that you can do in business. There was a study done by McKinsey & Company a while back where they surveyed over 100 CEOs, business leaders, entrepreneurs to find out what it really takes to be a successful growth leader. And they came up with 7 qualities, 7 actions that these growth leaders take in order to be successful in what they do. I'm going to run through those today. Leadership is important. We all need leaders in our business. We need leaders to be strong leaders. We need leaders to be fearless leaders sometimes, because business world gets a little tough sometimes. But how do you truly differentiate a typical leader from a growth leader? A growth leader is somebody who is growing the business, growing new products, growing new services, growing the top line, growing the bottom line. First of all, they make sure that growth is everywhere. They put growth at the top of every agenda in the business, from board meetings to performance reviews to product analysis to customer reviews. They put growth everywhere. That's their focus. They look for funding. They look for ways to fund growth and invest in growth. They search out funds for growth, and they have a clear vision of where each dollar and each incremental step in spending should be invested, and the targets that need to be reached in order for the teams to achieve what they want. And when they do that, it's almost impossible for the teams not to push hard, because they're pushing them so hard and they're so focused on growth. They make growth the central focus of everyone in the business. Because if you're not growing, you're dying, truly. So they see growth everywhere. They make sure that the conversation is always about pushing forward, growing forward, and seeing growth in the company. Second, growth leaders are willing to fail. They make more bets than the normal leader do. They delegate more responsibility to people. They empower people to make important decisions, knowing that there will be some failure. And they're willing to go through that, because with every failure, you learn a lesson. With every failure you learn what doesn't work, what didn't work. And if you are a good growth leader, you will push through those, and you will take those lessons and change and modify what you're doing so you can continually push forward for growth. They encourage risk-taking even at the lowest levels of the company. Because when everybody's taking a risk, everybody is looking at and pushing towards the growth. Now, if they're doing it just because they're clueless and they're being haphazard about it, that's not wise. But if they're taking risks to accomplish the goal of the growth that the growth leader has put out for everybody, then that's not always a bad thing. Third, they put the customer in the center of everything. They go the extra mile by designing all their processes, designing all of their systems by thinking about the customer. They take time to learn about their customer, to walk in their shoes. You should even go spend a day or two walking in your customer's shoes to find out how they think, what their needs are, how you can solve their problems, and build empathy with the customer. That's what a growth leader does. They are always focused on the customer. Anytime they talk about a new product, their question is, what is the benefit for the customer? They're always customer focused. Fourth, they know that growth decisions can make or break their career. They take risks. They will even trade short-term gains for long-term benefits for the company, for the organization. They know it's a risk, but they know in the long term it can either make them or break them. And that's not necessarily their goal. Yeah, most people want to succeed, but they're willing to take those risks. They value speed of getting it done over perfect insight. So if you wait until it's the perfect product, if you wait until it's the perfect time, if you wait until you have the perfect environment, it never comes. It'll never happen. As Seth Godin says, ship it, take action, Go out, put it out in the world today, and you'll find out what's not right with it and fix it and move on. They don't wait for their ideas to be perfect. They take action, they take swift action, and they change it as they go. They use the data that they have to make thoughtful decisions about how it's working, where they need to go, and then they pursue it with all they've got. And then they take time to reevaluate where they're at based on the results they're getting. Not on somebody's fear, not on somebody's thought, but based on the results. They're able to take the data and change and reevaluate and go in a new direction if they have to. Number 5, they fight the good fight for growth. You know, in business, the pressure is always on to deliver short-term results. You know, we have this in the stock market and, you know, public investing. We have quarterly earnings. It's like you're always pushing for the next quarter. I think that's a little crazy, but it keeps the companies moving forward. It keeps the pressure on them to always deliver results. Short-term results result in long-term gains. Growth leaders deliberately allocate their resources so that they can position their business for future growth. And they're always looking out for people who want to cut it back. They're always looking out for people who want to take those resources. They want to claw them back. They want to say, well, let's take some of those resources you have and put them over here. And they're like, no, we have a goal. We set a goal. We're pushing forward to this. We're going to grow this. We're going to achieve this. And they're very, very, very cautious about people grabbing hold of the resources. 6, they're very articulate about why they're doing what they're doing. They don't use your typical channels. I mean, they do, you know, progress reports, newsletters, staff meetings, community meetings, town halls, whatever, things like that. They do use those, but they go way beyond that. They develop a really in-depth, comprehensive communication plan that targets all of their stakeholders so that everybody knows where they're headed, everybody knows what they're doing, and everybody knows what they're accomplishing. And they will usually tell their own story to everybody else. The story of the company, the story that they're working on, the story of the customer. They tell everybody else in the outside of the company because that motivates their employees. It helps motivate investors' perceptions of what they're doing and where they're going and what they're achieving. If you only talk about your numbers, nobody cares about your numbers. But if you're talking about the impact you're having in people's lives because of your product, because of your services, people go, wow, that's cool, and they'll want to follow along, they want to invest. And your employees will get energized because of that. 7, they give power to other people. They invest more time in formal and informal growth training of their people, their teams, their employees, and they encourage people to make decisions without giving them a structure on how to do that. Because if you tell people, here's the structure, you need to make a decision, and you've already given them a box that they don't want to get out of. Growth doesn't happen inside of a box. Wow, that's cool. Growth doesn't happen inside of a box. I'm going to have to remember that. Growth leaders aren't afraid to make changes in their own business models, to close the gaps where they see people moving apart, capitalizing on the capabilities that other people can bring them through partnerships, joint ventures, and other businesses that can help them achieve what they want to achieve. They're not afraid of that. Because in the end, a rising tide lifts all ships. You'll all win. Some will get there faster, some will get there farther ahead. But they're not afraid to work closely, even with some competitors, if it's to benefit everybody. So those are the 7 qualities of growth leaders. Do you have growth leaders in your business? Are you a growth leader? Do you want to be a growth leader? We all want to be a growth leader. We want to grow our business. We want to grow ourselves personally. We want to grow the things that the organizations that we volunteer for. Be a growth leader. Go back through these 7 qualities of a growth leader. Learn them, work on them. Develop yourself to be that growth leader for your company, for your business, and you'll go so much farther and get so much farther ahead and achieve the success that you really want for your business. And if you want to work on your own personal growth, go get my book, The Success Grower. It's all about developing your own growth, developing your own goals and how to achieve them, and becoming a person of growth in your own life. I'm Mark Schinnerer from The Porch today. This is your Monday Mentor. I hope you have a great day and have a great week.